Hi, boys and girls. My name is Brandon Williams, and I'm with the Rotaract Club of Birmingham. And today I'm going to be sharing one of my favorite activities with you, which is reading. So I hope you're excited and ready to read today and learn a little bit about some animals. So, how about it? Let's jump right in and pay attention because I'm going to be asking some questions at the end of the reading. Okay, here we go. The title of today's book is called What Do You Do with a Tail Like This by Steve Jenkins and Robin Page. Animals use their noses, ears, tails, eyes, and mouths and feet in very different ways. See if you can guess which animal each part belongs to and how it is used. At the back of the book, you can find out more about these animals. What do you do with a nose like this? Those are some interesting looking noses. See if you can guess what they are. If you're a platypus, you use your nose to dig in the mud. If you're a hyena, you find your next meal with your nose. If you're an elephant, you use your nose to give yourself a bath. If you're a mole, you use your nose to find your way underground. And if you're an alligator, you breathe through your nose while hiding underwater. There's some pretty interesting uses for noses there. What do you do with ears like these? If you're a jackrabbit, you use your ears to keep cool. If you're a bat, you see with your ears. That's interesting. Bats see with their ears. I think that's called sonar. So ask your teachers to maybe explain sonar a little more for you after the book, if you're interested to see how bats see with their ears. If you're a hippopotamus, you close your ears when you're underwater. If you're a cricket, you hear with ears that are on your knees. If you're in the room and you have ears on your knees, raise your hand. I don't expect to see any hands raised. If you're a humpback whale, you hear sounds hundreds of miles away. Wow. What do you do with a tail like this? Those are some unique looking tails. Let's find out what they are. If you're a giraffe, you brush off pesky flies with your tail. If you're a skunk, you lift your tail to warn that a stinky spray is on the way. Ugh. If you're a lizard, you break off your tail to get away. That's an interesting fact about lizards and some reptiles. They can sever their tail or cut it off to escape an enemy, and it'll grow back or regenerate, which is pretty cool. If you're a scorpion, your tail can give a nasty sting. If you're a monkey, you hang from a tree with your tail or by your tail. What do you do with eyes like these? So it's a little easier to make out what the animals are when you can see their eyes, right? It looks like maybe an eagle, maybe a chameleon of some sort, a fish maybe down here. So let's find out. If you're an eagle, you spot tiny animals from high in the air. If you're a chameleon, you look two ways at once. That's interesting. If you're a four-eyed fish, did y'all hear that? A four-eyed fish. You look above and below the water at the same time. If you're a horned lizard, you squirt blood out of your eyes. That is quite interesting there by the horned lizard. If you're a bush baby, which is this animal over here, you use your large eyes to see clearly at night. Okay, so what do you do with feet like these? That almost looks like a hand, doesn't it? Let's find out what that is. Ah, here we go. If you're a chimpanzee, you feed yourself with your feet. You see? It's picking up, looks like some type of fruit there and eating it. It's got a bite out of it. If you're a blue-footed booby, you do a dance. If you're a water strider, you walk on water. If you're a gecko, you use your sticky feet to walk on the ceiling. Walk on the ceiling? That's wild. If you're a mountain goat, you leap from ledge to ledge. What do you do with a mouth like this? Wow, that looks like a really long mouth down here. If you're a pelican, you use your mouth as a net to scoop up fish. If you're an egg-eating snake, you use your mouth to swallow eggs larger than your head. I don't like snakes. If you're a mosquito, you use your mouth to suck blood. If you're an anteater, you capture termites with your long tongue, and possibly even ants. If you're an archerfish, you catch insects by shooting them down with a stream of water. Now, can y'all believe that? That fish shoots insects out of the air with water and then eats them. That's amazing. Okay, so here's some more facts on the animals that we talked about in the book today. Now, I'm not going to read over all of these, but again, it's just more information on what it told us about the different animals, like the star-nosed mole. There's 22 fleshy fingers on the end of its nose. Those are those little pink things. And when it's underground and it can't see using its eyes, it uses its nose to feel around. Kind of the same way when we talked about the bat that used its ears to see? That's interesting. Very, very interesting. So again, these are all the animals that were mentioned in the book, and it goes into a little more detail about them. So if any animals were mentioned that you find interesting, I bet you probably have a book in your classroom or around your house, or you can get on the computer and do a little search and look up these animals to learn more about them. But that is the end of today's book. So I hope you enjoyed that. But I do, before I leave you, I would like to ask a few questions about the book that we read today. I'm trying to There we go. Sorry about the technical difficulties. But yeah, so I got a couple questions for you today before we end our time together. The first, so if you were listening really well, this was actually in the first sentence of the book. In the first sentence, it listed 6 body parts that animals use in different ways. So think about the body parts that were listed and try to come up with all 6. I'll give you a little time to think about it. So there are 6 different ones. Maybe think about 5 that give you your senses. One, maybe your nose, maybe your ears. So think about your 5 senses and the body parts that give you those senses. Then there's one more, which was in the title of the book. So I'm giving some strong hints here. A few more seconds. Okay, so the 6 body parts that it mentioned in the first sentence of the books that animals use different ways were noses, which you smell with, ears, which you hear with, tails, which is what the book talked about. I had a section on tails where what did it say? The monkey hung from a tree by its tail, and it had various other uses for tails. The 4th were feet. So that's one animals use in different ways. The chimpanzee uses its feet to eat. if you remember that. Um, Mouth. So that's animals use mouths for everything, to communicate, to eat food, for different things. And then the last one were eyes. So to see things, right? It's how they see prey and different things and how they navigate their environments. So those are the 6 body parts that the animals used in different ways. So 2 more questions. This one should be easy. I mean, this should have caught your attention when I said this animal's name. What did the blue-footed booby do with its feet? So think about something you might do with your feet, especially if there was some good music playing. I'll give you a little time. I think this is easy. I think you are going to get this one. All right, time's up. So the blue-footed booby danced with its feet. Can you believe that? Do you know animals dance? They do. They like to have a good time. All right, so the last question, and I think I might have given this away earlier in the first question. What does the monkey use its tail for? So, again, I gave a pretty strong hint a few seconds ago, but just think about what the monkey might use its tail for. If you've been to the zoo by the monkey exhibit, maybe you saw a monkey doing this, but it's pretty cool looking, actually. So, all right, hopefully you've got the answer, but I'm about to give it to you if you don't. Monkeys use their tails to hang from trees. That's a pretty valuable skill because it frees up their hands and their feet, right? So if they're trying to grab something or hold on to something, they can just hitch their tail to the limb, and then they've got their hands and their feet to move around with. And we saw from the chimpanzee, which is, in the monkey family, that their feet are almost like hands. So it's like they got 4 hands. They're hanging from a tree by their tail. So that's really cool. Well, I thank you for spending time with me today. Again, my name is Brandon. I'm glad I could connect with you all. Hope everything's going well and that you're staying safe and having fun doing your schoolwork online. And again, just thanks for joining me today and reading this book. And I hope you learned a lot and look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.